Welcome to the Courtroom Chronicles. This channel is dedicated to educational content based on real-life cases and true events. This content shared here is drawn directly from the actual case file, and no names, places, or items have been changed. However, the content has been carefully summarized and presented for educational purposes in a comprehension format to inform, enlighten, and spark meaningful discussions. Whether you're here to learn, reflect, or simply understand the real-world scenarios better, you're in the right place. We believe in the power of truthful storytelling to educate and inspire. Disclaimer: while all stories are based on real cases, they are presented in a condensed and structured format for clarity and learning. Viewer discretion is advised where necessary. This case is cited from the Nigerian High Court online file, which is public record. This is a case between Whitehall Consults Ltd v. Access Bank plc. This case, decided by the High Court of the FCT, Nyanya Judicial Division on the 23rd March 2021, centered around the banker-customer relationship, contractual obligations, and legal standards for freezing bank accounts. Facts of the case: Whitehall Consults Ltd, the claimant, sued Access Bank plc, the defendant, for unlawfully placing a post-no debit (PND) restriction on its corporate account, numero 0521565, thus blocking it from accessing its funds. The bank also dishonored a $1 million check issued by the claimant to a subcontractor, Charles Ikongbe, even though the account was adequately funded. The claimant argued that there was no lawful justification or court order to freeze the account. The dishonoring of the check caused defamation, libel, and business losses. The actions of the bank amounted to breach of contract, libel, and infringement of commercial rights. The defendant, Access Bank, countered by explaining that it had acted prudently upon receiving a letter from NEMSA, a government agency, claiming that $17.5 million was mistakenly sent to the wrong account, Habibu Muazu's instead of Whitehall's. The bank sought indemnity from Whitehall, but the indemnity letters were allegedly irregularly signed by one Daniel Papka, whose BVN and records did not match the company profile. The defendant placed a PND on the account due to money laundering suspicions and reported the issue to the CBN, which directed a reversal of the funds to NEMSA's TSA account. Issues for determination: whether a bank can freeze a customer's account or dishonor checks without a valid court order. Whether the actions of Access Bank amounted to libel and breach of contract. Court's ruling and judgment. The court, per Hon. Justice U.P. Kekame, found in favor of the claimant, Whitehall Consults Ltd. Key decisions include: the PND order was unlawful, as Access Bank acted without a court order or due process. Dishonoring the check without justification, despite sufficient funds, constituted breach of contract and libel. The claimant was awarded a declaration that the PND and account freezing were unjustified, an order to unfreeze the account, a perpetual injunction preventing future interference without court order, $2 million in general damages. The court emphasized that even EFCC cannot freeze accounts without a court order, reinforcing the importance of due process and the constitutional protection of property rights, Section 44 of the 1999 Constitution. Who won and why? The claimant, Whitehall Consults Ltd, won the case. Reasons: the defendant failed to obtain a court order before freezing the account. There was no proper legal authority cited to justify the PND action. The check dishonor despite sufficient funds caused defamation and business harm, which the court found unacceptable. The judge held that Access Bank's actions violated both statutory law, Bills of Exchange Act, Section 47, and constitutional rights. Legal analysis: how this could have been avoided. Access Bank's due diligence versus legal process. While Access Bank was right to perform enhanced due diligence due to suspicious activity and AML obligations, it overstepped its legal bounds by acting unilaterally without seeking a court order. Importance of verification. If there were doubts about the validity of Daniel Papka's documents or identity, Access Bank should have approached the appropriate law enforcement agencies or the court for intervention rather than taking arbitrary actions. Communication. The bank failed to notify the customer or provide justification in writing prior to freezing the account, a crucial misstep. Litigation procedure. Both parties used originating summons, which the court found appropriate despite the defendant's objection. However, the defendant's position might have been stronger had it initiated its own protective court action. Takeaway for banks and customers. Banks must never freeze accounts without a valid court order unless specifically empowered by statute. Customers have the right to sue for damages and defamation if a bank unjustifiably interferes with their accounts. Financial institutions must strictly adhere to CBN regulations, constitutional rights, and contractual obligations in the banker-customer relationship. Thanks so much for watching, fam. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and let me know what you think about the case. I love hearing your thoughts and feedback. And hey, if you felt a connection or learned something new, give this video a like and share it with someone who might enjoy it too. Until next time, stay safe, stay real, and I'll catch you in the next one.